Welcome! Today, we're diving into the UK's incredible calendar of customs. Think of this as your personal guided tour through all the big holidays and quirky little traditions that really make the British year tick. So here's how we're going to break it all down. We'll kick things off with the major Christian holidays, then explore some amazing multicultural celebrations. After that, we'll look at some fun year-round traditions, touch on a couple of important days of remembrance, and finally, we'll figure out what a bank holiday actually is. All right, let's get started. First up, we've got the two big ones, the Christian festivals that are really the cornerstones of the British year, Christmas and Easter. Of course, Christmas lands on December 25th, celebrating the birth of Jesus. For most people, it's all about family gathering for a huge meal, usually a roast turkey, and swapping presents that Father Christmas left under the tree. But, the fun doesn't stop there. The very next day, December 26th, is also a public holiday. It's called Boxing Day, which makes the whole thing a fantastic two-day affair. Here's an easy way to lock that in. Just think of Christmas as a two-day event. You've got the 25th for the main event, and then the 26th to relax and eat all the leftovers. Next, we have Easter. And as you can see, it's not just a weekend thing. It's a whole season. It all kicks off with Shrove Tuesday, which pretty much everyone just calls Pancake Day. It's the last big feast before Ash Wednesday, which starts a period of reflection called Lent. That all leads up to Good Friday, which marks Jesus' death, and then finally, the big celebration on Easter Sunday for his resurrection. Now, when you think about Easter, there's one number that's really key, 40. That's because Lent lasts for 40 days. Traditionally, it was a time for fasting, but these days, a lot of people just give up one little luxury, like chocolate or something. So how do you remember that? Super easy. Just think of Lent as the official 40-day countdown until you can dive into all those chocolate Easter eggs. Okay, but the UK is way more than just the Christian calendar, right? It's a real melting pot of different cultures and faiths, and that means there are all these other vibrant, beautiful celebrations happening all year long. This table gives us a fantastic snapshot. You've got Diwali, the incredible Hindu and Sikh festival of lights. Then there's Hanukkah, the Jewish festival that's all about celebrating freedom. We have Eid al-Fitr, which is the wonderful celebration marking the end of Ramadan for Muslims, and Vaisakhi, a huge spring festival for Sikhs, which you'll often see celebrated with these amazing, colorful parades. Let's zoom in on Diwali for a second. It happens in October or November, and it's famously called the Festival of Lights. It lasts for 5 days, and at its core, it's all about celebrating the victory of good over evil, with people lighting up their homes with beautiful lamps and candles. And here's your memory teaser for that one. How many days for the Festival of Lights? 5. Easy. Just count the fingers on one hand. Now for Hanukkah. The number to remember here is 8. Why? Because this Jewish festival lasts for 8 days, and it commemorates this amazing miracle where a lamp with only enough oil for 1 day somehow managed to burn for 8 whole days. All right, let's switch gears and talk about traditions that aren't tied to any one faith, but are just, they're part of the furniture of British life. We're talking about everything from pranks to parents. First up is a really quirky one, April Fool's Day, on April 1st. Now, there's a very, very important rule you have to know. You can play all the pranks and jokes you want, but only until midday. If you try to pull a fast one after 12 o'clock, the joke's on you. You're the fool. So remember this, it's your golden rule for April 1st. Jokes are for the morning, and the afternoon is for being serious. Got it? And of course, the calendar's peppered with other days you'll probably recognize. There's Valentine's Day in February for romance, Mother's Day, which actually moves around because it's tied to Easter, Father's Day in June, and then the spooky fun of Halloween on October 31st. Okay, let's shift the mood a little. Now we're going to talk about two major traditions that aren't about religion or folklore, but are rooted in these absolutely pivotal moments from British history. I want you to picture this. It's the year 1605. A guy named Guy Fawkes is part of a plan to blow up the Houses of Parliament with the king inside. The plot fails, of course, and every single year since, on November 5th, Britain commemorates it with Bonfire Night, setting off huge firework displays and lighting massive bonfires. And how do you remember the date? Well, there's a super famous rhyme that does all the work for you. Remember, the 5th of November. It's as simple as that. This next one is much more solemn. Remembrance Day marks the end of World War I and honors everyone who has died in conflict. And the moment of observance is incredibly specific. On the 11th day of the 11th month, At exactly 11 a.m., the whole country stops and falls silent for 2 minutes. So, how long is that silence? Just 2 minutes. It's a short, powerful time to remember an absolutely immense sacrifice. All right, for our last stop on this tour, we're going to clear something up. It's a term you hear all the time in the UK, but it can be a bit confusing if you're not from here: the bank holiday. So, what on earth is it? Well, a bank holiday is basically just a public holiday that has no religious ties. It's called that because, you guessed it, the banks are closed for the day, along with lots of other businesses. They're scattered through the year, giving people a welcome day off, usually on a Monday. And that's a wrap. We've seen solemn moments of remembrance, ancient folklore, vibrant multicultural faiths, and just some plain old quirky fun. So I'll leave you with this question to think about. Now that you've seen the what and the when of all these UK traditions, which one do you think says the most about the British character? Thanks for joining me.